funded in my body, even though I was made fun of as a kid. It's when you punch bullies in the face, but maybe that's just me.
I was made fun of as a kid. Okay, real talk. We were all made fun of as a kid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, like, my school experience from 3rd grade through 8th grade was basically nonstop being made fun of.
Yeah.
But, I got to a point where I was like, if you guys want to be dicks, that's one thing. I'm not going to let it ruin my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That sort of thing is hard as a teenager, but understand that in no way makes you special, because everybody gets picked on as a kid.
I mean, mine was pretty bad, because I was a junior and I actually thought about just dropping out because it was so bad. And I'm like, I can just get my GED and go on to college or whatever and say, fuck these guys.
Yeah.
But after talking with somebody about it, and she's like, it's really, a GED is good, but it's better to go try and get your high school diploma. It just looks better.
Yeah, stay in school, kids.
I'm not real, I've had this talk on one of the Linkara videos, but just don't let people be dicks to you. If they're gonna be a dick, that's them, not you.
Mm-hmm.
And just flip them off or something and go about your business.
Yeah, and speaking as somebody who actually did drop out, I did drop out, but my reasons were a little bit more practical.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a position where, unfortunately, because of all of the crap that I had gone through,
mm-hmm.
and not just other kids, but just bad experiences with teachers and stuff, I stopped caring about school.
Yeah.
And I stopped doing my homework.
Oh, I hardly did mine.
All of this is my own fault.
Uh-huh.
For the most part. I mean,
yeah.
It's not my fault that I stopped caring as much as I did, frankly, because it was an awful institution. But basically it was mathematically impossible for me to graduate.
Yeah.
And I was sticking around for a couple of things, and then those other, the things I was sticking around for kind of fell out from under me, and I was just like, you know what? I have to move on with my life. I'm going to get out of here and get my GED.
Yeah.
But I will say to anybody who's actually thinking about dropping out, don't if you can graduate.
Yeah. I was basically a year and a half away from graduating. I was almost a senior. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just kind of done. Why do I have to go through this shit when I could just graduate and go ahead and go to college or find a job? I don't have to deal with this bullshit, and I don't want to be here anymore. Because I had the misfortune of being a poor kid going to a high school filled with doctors and lawyers kids. People who had fucking money and liked to rub it in people's face.
Yeah, and that does suck. Anytime there's kind of that I'm better than you thing going on, I know what that's like. But if you can graduate, do that. But if you have decided you're going to drop out, and as somebody who has dropped out, I understand. If you're going to do that, have a solid plan laid out. Be like, this is when I'm going to get my GED, and this is when I'm going to use that to apply to college. Don't just drop out and start flipping burgers and have that be the end. That's not good.
Well, I had a friend who was actually a year behind us by the time we had actually we're seniors, and we were going to get our senior picture, and she was there to take the senior picture with us, and I'm like, dude, why are you? She's like, I'm going to drop out and she's like, I'm getting my GED. She's like, I just got to do the test for it, and then I'm getting it. But see, she, has she's got family members who are disabled and stuff, and she helps, pay bills and work, and she's like, I want to go ahead and do it, and then just keep going with my job and maybe get some college on the side. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that was why she was there, so she could at least, because technically she was, going to be done with school.
Right.
I mean, there are different reasons, and in some cases it might be better for you, but I would also recommend you try to stay and actually graduate.
Right, and everybody's circumstances are different, and I don't really care for the institutes that we have these days.
Yeah.
Public school in general. Unfortunately, I am likely to agree with Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty and say that school is not a place for smart people.
No.
Unfortunately, it's just not, which is the opposite of what it's supposed to be like.
Well, see, that was the whole reason the whole reason I even went to college to start with was because, in my mind, good people go to college. And that's why I went, if you want to be a good person and not a bad person, which is not only the wrong thing to think entirely, but definitely the wrong reason to go to college or anything to start with. But that's what was in my mind, and that's why I went to college. But by the time I got to college, I'm like, I don't really care about all this shit I'm being forced to learn. I just want to write. That's all.
Yeah, I hear ya. Trust me. I get it. I mean, considering how long it took me to graduate from college.
Oh, it took me forever too, because it's just, it just got to the point where I did not care. And then finally I'm like, well, why am I here anyway? I'm like, I started to think that, and then Dad passed away, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to see if I can get a basic diploma, have something for my time, and get the fuck out of here, and go do something else.
Yeah.
Because I was in there from 2003 to 2010, and I changed my major once.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty much why I had to stay in school, because I went from my creative writing, which they didn't even actually have a creative writing as a major. It was just a focus, and basically you were an English major. And so then I got into webcomics, and I started to do Cat Dragon, and I'm like, I really would rather learn about stuff I didn't already know. And so I switched to art. And I took graphic design and learned a whole bunch there. I mean, one teacher was kind of a dick because she didn't like anime or manga, but aside from that, I had a pretty good experience.
Yeah, that is kind of the exact same way I would describe my experience at Front Range. For the most part, it was a really good experience, but I had those one or two teachers that were just awful. And I just realized that we've spent way more time talking about this than we have reading this
that's why it's a talk time. That's why I'm like, I'm switching this to a talk time. But the thing with my art stuff was when I took drawing class with this woman as my teacher, even though she did not like anime and manga, I really did learn a lot from her. And I'm like, so when I decided to take watercoloring, because I was inspired a lot by Mark Crilley using watercolor, and and she was the teacher for that, I'm like, oh, well, I'll learn a lot from her like I did in drawing one. This woman sucked. She did not teach, and she did not, in any shape, fashion, or form, give advice. And I heard she was later fired. And I'm like, well, I can't really be sad about this.
Right.
Because she sucked a lot. I don't know what happened, but she just sucks in this class.
Man, yeah. In my case, when I was going to Front Range, I'm not gonna name any names, but my creative writing teacher was lacking, to say the least.
I loved my creative writing teacher. He was amazing.
Yeah, I'm really happy for you that you got a good one, because, man, when you've got a creative writing teacher who stifles creativity,
That was this woman in watercolor class.
Yeah, it's like, at what point do you realize that you're in the wrong job?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and this woman would rather, just like lecture. She was the kind of person who would be better off standing behind a lectern for like 2 hours at a time, just talking at people. Because when it came to being a creative soundboard, she was useless. And she was so exacting in what she wanted you to write that it was like,
she would probably be more suited as an English teacher rather than a creative writing teacher.
Exactly. She would be probably more suited to a technical writing class.
Because I had I was forced, as part of, my requirements, I had to take an English class, and I tried to be a little creative with one of my papers. I think I was doing like a report on the yellow wallpaper or something. And I did like a creative comparison to a bird in a cage as my intro. And I was really proud of that intro. And then I went to that class, and I guess everybody just didn't do so great on that paper, because she like spent an entire lecture talking about what people did wrong. And then she actually brought up mine, where I had done the creative opening, and she's like, I'm sure that's very nice, but that doesn't belong in an English paper where you're writing down facts and giving examples. And I'm like, I feel like shit now, because I was really proud of that.
Right.
And if creative writing is frowned upon because that is my major, but I'm in this class as part of my major, why am I here?
Right.
Why do I have to take this shit class?
Well, I mean, that strikes me as somebody who just...
she wasn't doing it to be mean, but
right.
she kind of opened my eyes by saying something I didn't really like, because she's right. That kind of writing doesn't belong in a class where you're just writing the basic boring paper about a book or story you read.
Sure. But, even in something like that, little interjections that keep the reader's attention, I think those absolutely are appropriate. It's like, if I want to read your paper, like, on 16th century cookware or whatever,
yeah,
I am going to lose interest after like the first page and a half if all you are doing is describing the dimensions of 16th century cookware. You have to do something to try to keep the reader's attention. So discouraging something like that is, I think, actually detrimental.
I would agree.
I understand that she wants to teach just like very technical writing.
Yeah.
But unless you are writing an instruction manual, you need those things that keep the reader's attention.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents on that subject.
Yeah, I agree. That's all but that's been this whole talk time is, yeah, I agree with that, and here's a few examples why.
Okay, so do you want to...
where were we? Right? Oh, right, we got off on this tangent about staying in school. Okay.
Stay in school, kids. TLDR, stay in school.